I know, that's what I'm saying. We're about to be in and out.
Nice.
We had to let the basement know why my nigga didn't show up today. Oh yeah, alright. So, you know what I mean? You chilling now? Huh? You chilling? Yeah. So you get off? 11:30. Alright, we can probably come through. You driving? Nah, nothing. Don't worry about it. You ain't coming through. You know what I mean? I got some. I got to show you though. What's happening? How you feeling? No, we just had to let them know while my people working on the show today.
Sometimes you just gotta be that reminder for yourself.
Back to run a good route just to get somebody on defense attention.
On the ground, never bite your sand. I gotta make it. I gotta make it. Yeah. Took me to the back to myself, man.
20 minutes till I walk across the stage, or matter of fact, until we walk in the gym. I did it.
I gotta make it. Yeah, that love come easy when you still that nigga. What about when you get older? You ain't touching figures. That's when you gon' see it fade. Like don't stop for niggas. Man, just call a spade a spade. You can't rock with niggas. My path is sacred, every nigga makes it. Only kings walk this path, I was chosen to take it. There's not any like me, but there's a few that's faking. And I'm living out my dream, there's no need for chasing. Nah, there's no need for chasing. I already know I'm gonna make it, yeah. I gotta make it, I gotta make it, yeah. Took me to the back to myself, man. On the ground, never bite your stand up. I gotta make it, I gotta make it, yeah. Took me to the back to myself, man.
You have to go to work. You have to make that phone call. You have to call back. You have to send that text.
Yeah.
So it's like where it comes is that it's like it's real reciprocal. But with a lot of other people, it's like we can relate where it's like family wise.
Okay.
Like your family situation is this. Yo, I can read how you're feeling. Like you're real standoffish, but I know how you feel inside.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm able to create those like relations in my head and build that bond with people.
Yeah, that similarity that you have with the individual.
I feel like people who have a lot of friends aren't necessarily building true relationships, connections. Like,
There's no quality.
yeah,
You know
it's
what
just
I'm
kind of like if you have a friend through high school and then after high school you don't have that friend, can you say that person was always your friend?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like once you build that relationship, build that bond, it's like a lot more worthy, more like helpful to you, more worth your time.
You can put more trust in there. You know, knowing that like this person knew me,
Yeah.
you know, and knew who I was through this whole transition of who
So
I've
now
become.
it's like we're here.
Yeah.
And we're here together. So it's like, I don't know. Relationships to me mean a lot. So it's like when I see people with like a little group, I'm like, they're together.
Yeah.
They know like if anything pops off, they're together.
Important to quality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I got 2 half siblings, 1 brother, 1 sister. But my older brother and my older sister never lived with them. I live with my mom and my little sister. Me and my little sister there's a gap in age, so it's like we don't really like, we're not in the same circle.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a dad in the household. I'm with all girls. So of course like I was isolated already.
Yeah.
You know, I was already, I just grew up independent. That's why I feel like I'm a lot different than a lot of people in the state of Delaware. I feel like it's a Delaware mindset, you know, of people in the state of Delaware, right? Like Delaware, don't get me wrong, is a very great state. But it's a very like complacent, mediocre
It's
state.
recycled. You know what I mean? I went to a high school in Hershey, PA, and it was a boarding school, a private boarding school. So I went there for 4 years.
Okay.
I grew up here, so all the way up to 9th grade, I lived here. Then I went over there and I came back here for breaks and everything. And that was the first time that I actually left Delaware for a long time. You know what I mean? Longer than a few months. And every time I came back, leaving school and then I guess you experience it with Howard. You're ready to come back when it's free. You know what I mean? Like you're just ready to come back. I'm excited, anxious. And every single time I come back, I realize that it's the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's cool. Like now I get to see family and everything, but okay, it's still Delaware. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went to Florida to do acting and modeling for a little bit. Came back, same thing. Went to Nebraska, came back, same thing. And then I kind of came to this realization that like Delaware, like you said, I guess I don't know if it's a mindset of the people that live here or what, but like there's literally nothing that changes to the point of like the same person that you always see, ask you for $1 when you go to the same corner store. You could leave for like 6 to 9 months, come back, and you'll see that same person there.
Do you want me to tell you why that's the reason?
What's up?
Because of our state legislators. It's because of the people that were elected in the state of Delaware.
Yeah.
The state of Delaware elects the same people over and over again. Maybe not the same exact people, but the same type of people.
Yeah.
You feel me? The same minded type of people, right? And that's the issue, right? Delaware has always been a moderate state. We've been a moderate blue state, right?
Yeah.
They're pretty much Democrats that, have some conservative values. That's why they call themselves moderates, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of elect a lot of people like that, right? There's not really any progressive thinking in the state of Delaware on either spectrums. They're not progressive on the liberal side. They're not progressive on the conservative side.
Yeah.
So it's like we don't see a lot of great capitalism. Now we don't see a lot of people building great businesses in Delaware. There's a lot of small businesses here, but we don't see a lot of innovative big companies doing great things, right?
Yeah.
It's not a lot of that in the state of Delaware, right? And there's not also a lot of liberal thinking, right? We don't have free healthcare. Public school systems are trash. Transportation systems are trash. Everything that's public in the state of Delaware is low-key trash, to be honest. So it's like, at the end of the day, people here are already, the environment is already set up for them to be mediocre.
Not really good above and beyond.
Yeah, but then again, for like entrepreneurs and business owners, Delaware is literally the best spot to be.
Financially.
Not even financially, but for opportunities, right?
Okay.
Because being an entrepreneur, the first thing you want to do is own your environment.
And look for board.
You want to be the king of your space, right?
Yeah.
If there's nobody competing with you, you can easily oversaturate the market.
Yeah.
And it's like, in here in Delaware, there's not really a lot of people or young people aspiring to do great things. And when you do see people like that, they leave.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I was just like one of those type of people, right? I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to Howard, I'm gone. A year later, I find myself here, about to go to the University of Delaware.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I see this, me being here, as a blessing, right? And I also thank my upbringing, how I was brought up, and my experience at Howard that really taught me, how to be creative, how to be innovative, how to think different, right? All those experiences, bringing it back to Delaware, before I even left, I kind of feel like mentally I was a few levels ahead of a lot of people. But now with the experiences that I already have, bringing that back, I can definitely oversaturate the market. We can definitely achieve things. We can definitely create things.
Yeah.
I mean, and if there's somebody that thinks that they can't, they can compete. That's what it is. And, the world of business is a competition, at the end of the day.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people, here that do the same thing, but, have very distinctive styles. Like I can even use these two, for example. They both do photography, but their photography is completely different.
Yeah, different.
That's what it's about. I feel like Delaware, like he said, isn't much. But I feel like because we live in Delaware, we're in an advantage because there's nothing to do here.
Yeah.
There's like, you go to the mall, you live on 40, I mean, you bust it up with your boys. Other than that, it's like, where you going, what you doing? So it's, yeah, you feel me? So it's like, when you're in Delaware, you have so much time on your hands. Where it's like, you could get things done, you could produce, you could create. And then, like he said, the people usually go, but if people produce and create, and kept creating and creating, like he said, the market's there. Yeah. Like we were talking about consistency, you have the time. So like, consistency is nothing. Like, what?
Not that much distractions either.
Yeah.
It's good.
And there's a lot of board, like you're saying, like that's important for an entrepreneur, because the fact that we don't have a lot here, you made the point that that's what an entrepreneur wants. You know what I mean? What do we not have that I can provide?
I was even reading a book this morning. It's called The Business of the 21st Century by Robert Kiyosaki, right?
Okay.
And he's the guy that wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad. if you heard about that book. Yeah, so he was talking about the best time for entrepreneurs to start a business, right? He said a lot of people, if we're in a recession, right, the economy is crashing, people would think that's the worst time to do anything involving money. But ironically, that's the best time to start a company. All the top companies, we're talking about Microsoft, all these top companies were started in a recession, right? And it's all about getting opportunity where no one sees that there's an opportunity at the end of the day. Right? Nobody really sees the opportunity in Delaware, and that's why real entrepreneurs need to exploit this opportunity. That's why a lot of people have addresses here. Why? No taxes.
Yeah.
You know, they have their businesses registered here. Why? They can avoid a lot of taxes. You know, so there's a lot of opportunity here, and one of our goals is to really, you know, help grow the economy of Delaware. To be honest, I mean, as long as it's a prosperous Delaware economy, we can also compete with other cities too. I mean, I want to have a sense of pride in my state, sense of pride in my city as well. You know, I went to Howard where a lot of students were repping Chicago, Atlanta, Miami, Philly, all these, you know, top cities, New York. You know, and I mean, I was repping Delaware, but I was looking corny.
Nobody really knows about it.
I'm telling you, it's like whenever you reference Delaware, it's like, oh yeah, that's like 30 minutes out of Philly, right?
Yeah.
Like, or that's north of Maryland. Like that's the only reference we get. Like,
I don't know. It's like I can feel it coming though. Honestly, like me particularly, I feel like there is gonna be a change coming, like to the state in general. Like, and even if like you guys gotta bring it, I gotta bring it. Like I have plans. I have a lot of visions for just simple things. You know, like there's so much that you can do here, just like business wise. You know, like filling it up.
Right.
It does. Vegas was what? Nothing. It was a desert land, right? And they made all of that on desert.
So
why can't we do the same in a city that's already kind of established? You know what I mean? Like, why can't we fill this up with entertainment? Fill it up with, you know, just any type of business. Whether it be more food chains within a city to add lights. You know what I mean? Add some attraction. What we have is Market Street. You know what I mean? What if Market Street was like a 24-hour thing? You know what I mean? What if we had that, and what if we expanded it? You know what I mean? 3 or 4 blocks. You know what I mean? Then the city will actually change, the whole vibe will actually change to something that like people actually want to come and hang out.
But the thing is, the issue with that though is gentrification, right?
Yeah.
So once all that starts to happen, property, you know, cost for a living there goes up, right? And the majority of people that live in those communities are black people, right? Probably low income communities, right?
Yeah.
You know, they can you're already living paycheck to paycheck paying their bills here, as it is. But as soon as they get, you know, the Gucci's coming in there, the top restaurants coming in there, you know, all that stuff is gonna increase their taxes. So I mean, it is, you know, that strategy could work, but the way to implement that would have to be in a very, very strategic way.
Yeah.
You know, not for like
hurt too much.
Because I'm a big fan of economic development too. Don't get me wrong, I love that idea.
How would you do it?
I feel like it would be more like get it lit, but not like the Gucci and top restaurants, more like
I honestly think it's just finding other ways to fund it. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the reason why property tax is going up is because they have to pay, you know, to have their houses there, or to use those spots now. You feel me? So just finding other means to fund it, you know. And I feel like there are other millionaires that come out of Delaware that the government could speak to, that they could probably donate a mall to or something to.
But yeah, I'm not talking about government funded, you know, entertainment though. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about like, let's say, like self-made entertainment. You know, where, because I also feel like the city council is actually holding out on a lot of ideas.
Oh yeah, it's true.
You know, 2017, I had made a business plan for a recreational
I'm trying to remember because we definitely did
complex. Yeah, recreational entertainment complex. It was originally named Island Time, then I changed it to Nirvana. But it was a complex that was going to take about $70 million in funding. And I was meeting with, you know, angel investors, met with some people at city council. Okay. And I was 17 at the time. You know, so
that's dope.
That's hella dope.
Yeah, I was 17 at the time. It was like a 90-page business plan. I was meeting with these people. And the reason that I couldn't get the funding was because I was 17 with no collateral. So it would be a huge risk, you know, as far as like, you know, me having nothing. It would be 100% risk for all the investors. I had nothing, you know, things went wrong financially. 2 years later, Main Event came out. You know what I mean? And it was kind of like my concept, and it, you know, but that was something that, you know, my vision created, and I was actually happy. I was happy that it happened because I was like, okay, I'm in the right mindset because I saw that as a void. And I was actually thinking to put it in the riverfront so that more of the city people can go there.
The riverfront is lit too.
Yeah, you know what I mean. They're always adding there, but like, I just feel there needs to be something here, like right in town. You know what I mean? Because riverfront, you know, riverfronts. It's people in town. People don't go to riverfront unless they're going to Planet Fitness. You know what I mean? You go to Ubon or something, but like,
Other than that,
yeah, like, you know, it's for the people who live there. You know what I mean? Who have those apartments there, and I just feel like, you know, if we put more, people treat stuff how you treat it. You know what I mean? So if we put more of those type things, as far as like I said, hookah lounges, little entertainment places, I don't know, bowling alleys, whatever, small stuff.
Whatever's on Main
within the
Street.
city.
yeah, for real, get it
Put
closer.
it in here.
Yeah,
You know what I
people
mean?
start
And
coming.
people will treat it correctly, but it's like we don't have it.
Yeah.
So I know, and it's the money. But that's what I'm saying though. I can feel it coming though.
And
Because-
ironically, sorry to get so like politically like involved in putting this into your show, whatever. But ironically, like the current mayor of Wilmington is Mike Persicki, right?
Yeah.
Mike Persicki is the same person that developed the riverfront. So before he ran for, you know, mayor of Wilmington, he was a real estate developer. He developed the whole riverfront. So all the stores there, all the food restaurants, the design of it, he's the one that was in charge of, you know, developing that area. So you would think that he would do the same thing with the inner cities, right?
Well, Petnero
That's
now
not-
owns all that land now.
You saw it?
I said, like, well, Petnero now owns all that, like pretty much 80% of the riverfront.
Yeah.
You know, so and I guess I could say 80% of a lot of the real estate in the city. You know what I mean, in general. So because I had to go through him as far as talking to for some acres for the complex.
Yeah, that's true.
So I guess, you know, I don't know whether whether you're contacting him, you know, on some land. I guess he's kind of like figuring out if he wants that business there or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he might be.
I mean, I'm just saying that's a question that we have to ask our elected officials.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not, you know, saying he's not doing it or if he is. I'm just saying, like, we always have to question these people and hold these people accountable.
Yeah.
'Cause at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of issues, a lot of, you know, concerns and desires that we have, but we're not going about it the right way, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, questioning and holding these people accountable is the right way to do it.
That's the only way to get things done for real, man.
Yeah, going to the source.
Yeah. Writing a letter, writing an email, and then waiting for it, you wait forever, man. Just trying to get, like, even with us, with the business, a lot of what we do, like, works within schools. And what we have to do is, like, contact the school, set up a meeting, meet with the principal, see if they're cool with it, then, like, sit down with teachers and stuff. And a lot of, like, what I did was, like, trying to get in contact with the school.
Yeah.
And I would send emails and wait for weeks. Even my own middle school, sent them an email, sent them a picture of me in middle school, sent them a picture of me now, sent them my resume, typed it up, all that. Still no response. Went in, they was like, oh, hey, like, how are you? This, that, and the third. So it's just kind of like the best way to do it is to get to the source.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so far we've been traveling a lot, so we've been to a lot of different states and going to different high schools now.
Yeah.
So we've been expanding beyond Delaware and DC, and usually like what we're used to is like being around Delaware students, right? So going to a whole different community, a whole different environment, which is an eye-opening experience for us. You know, we're privileged to meet different kids, see what the public school systems were like there, and see how different it was from Delaware public school system. So it was a really interesting experience.
Yeah, you see a lot out there when it's like, you leave Delaware, you have so many Delaware like schools, so many Delaware students, and then you go somewhere else and then see how they're taught and like what their curriculum and all that. It's crazy. You'll see how much it like really changes.
I really think like on that aspect, same thing can be applied with just regular lifestyle.
True.
Most people in Delaware, if you ever ask them, they've really never been past their side. Somebody from West Side probably never even left West Side.
Yeah.
Lived there all their life. So I mean, I have some family members that lived in the city all their life. So, and then one day we took them down to DC. He was like, fuck is this? Like, he was stuck. He didn't know how to react. He was so uncomfortable outside of his environment. It took him so long to get used to the environment, and it was crazy. Like, in my mind, I'm used to travel. I've been all like up and down the East Coast.
Yeah.
And then it's like, why aren't you used to this? He was like, I'm used to my block. I'm used to West Side. I'm used to chilling right there, nowhere else. So I feel as though if people were to go outside of their comfort zone, say like, go somewhere different, explore something different, see another perspective, and then come back to Delaware, see how your mind changes or how you look at it different.
So like, just to touch on that. So recently, like, ever since we started this business, he's been telling me like, yo, go watch TED Talks, go watch TED Talks. TED Talks in the morning, that's like motivational stuff, success. I'm like, all right, bro, like, calm down, whatever. But like recently, not even recently, like a couple months ago, like our business, we were running into a lot of problems. I started feeling like a lot of stress. I'm like, yo, I'm working, I got this business, like, I don't even. And I started watching TED Talks. Like, one of the TED Talks that like really heavily stood out to me was this one on success, and the guy said, success comes when people travel outside their comfort zone. Success only happens, change only happens when people are uncomfortable. Because as long as you're comfortable, you know what you're doing, you know this, nothing will change. But as soon as it's like, oh my God, I'm somewhere different, I have to make money, I have to thrive. That's when it's like, and a lot of people have that mindset where it's like, they don't have to, not necessarily being comfortable is a bad thing, but like, it's definitely not something that should be practiced. It's not something that should be heavily, I don't know, being comfortable shouldn't be something you get comfortable with, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I think that's the problem with Delaware, though. I think that people around here don't want to change. And I don't think they want things to change. They're so used to being in their own area, they don't want to go out and explore and do anything. Yeah. And I think that that's getting passed down as well as generations go on. And I mean, for an example, like we were promised a skate park in the middle of the city. That was like 3 years ago. It never happened. We had all the funding. All the funding was there.
Is that the one under the bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that was gonna happen like right under the bridge under 95.
Yeah.
It never happened. And we had, apparently all the funding was there, the plan was laid out, and then suddenly it just didn't happen. And it's like, that would have brought like a really big change to Delaware, because that would have been a very big skate park. I mean, we still have 7th down on East Side, but that's like, not a lot of people know about that, especially people that are outside of Delaware.
That's the one all the way in the back, right?
Yeah, near the Calmar Nickel block. Yeah,
there's one in Glasgow Park too.
Yeah,
That's far.
Okay.
That's far.
Yeah, that's down by me, but I see it every day.
Yeah, I see it all the time too.
We just need like one more accessible, like right in town, you saying?
Yeah, I think so. One that like would be more well known. It would be bigger, and more people could go there.
One thing that I can see, here specifically is that like people are comfortable, like you were saying, they're comfortable being where they are when everybody else is comfortable being where they are. You know what I mean? Like, if you're doing nothing, and you're doing nothing, and I'm doing nothing, I don't feel bad about it.
It's okay to do nothing.
Yeah,
we're all doing.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm less of a person because we all doing nothing together.
Yeah.
But like, going off, your comfortability topic was that when I was in high school, there was this one guy that came in for career day or whatever, and he said this one thing that always stuck me. It was a quote. He said, "There's no comfort, there's no growth in the comfort zone, and there's no comfort in the growth zone." And that right there stuck with me forever. You know what I mean? Like, that literally is what I use all the time. You know what I mean? When I get to a certain point where I feel like I'm complacent or stagnant, and then, you know what I mean? Because I don't like idle time. I don't like just sitting around. It makes me feel like I'm lazy.
I'm doing nothing.
And it could be one day. You know what I mean? I could have worked all week, you know what I mean, to my max. And it could be one day that I get a little bit of idle time and I still feel like that. But like, I'm grateful for it because sometimes, I'm like, yo, like I didn't chill all day, but like, why do I feel like this? But like, I'm grateful for it because it keeps me going. And I feel like mentally what it is, I'm not where I want to be. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like I don't deserve to be able to
Relax.
Yeah, watch
Yeah.
a YouTube video I actually want to watch. That's just like recreational, or put on a movie on Netflix, or after this, let's do the editing tomorrow. Let me just chill for the night. Nah, you know what I mean. We gotta do what we gotta do.
It takes too long.
Yeah.
I feel that.
But like that, an individual like that, like let's say you were like that and we were all complacent. You know what I mean? He was doing nothing, I was doing nothing, they were doing nothing, and you were the individual who that had that mindset. That I feel Delaware is like that. That's how Delaware is. That's when we don't like you. We don't like you because you make me feel like I'm not doing nothing. Because before I was cool, we was all not doing nothing. But then you came along, you're like. You have this mindset that you don't want to be where we're at. Like you're not accepting it.
Word.
You know what I mean? And so now you're making me feel like where my level's at is just what's the word for it? I don't know, just bad. You know what I mean? It's just a joke. And that's what it is.
And that was my story from like middle school to high school until I graduated.
Yeah.
It was like my relationships with people were always in high school was always at a distance.
Yeah.
Solely just because of that fact. Cause like we were friends because we went to the same high school, but mentally we were never on the same level playing field.
Yeah.
At all. And the people that I were that same mental level playing field with, they weren't in the state of Delaware, and they didn't go to my high school either. So it was like I had close relationships with everybody else that was outside of it. Or for example, like when I went to Howard. The reason why I wasn't so close to my friends from high school is just because, like, people at Howard are same mindset. I can gravitate to people who think like me, who act like me, who have the same interest as me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you can't just get into Howard. You have to have, you know what I mean? You have to have at least a certain education status.
Yeah, I mean, not really just the grades. I mean, I feel like Howard University itself, to get to that school, you really just have to be, one, a leader.
Yeah.
Two, just very innovative and creative.
Yeah,
like
so
just
it
be
brings
the
a lot
best
to your
version of
character.
you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't even have to have the best grades. Just you have to be the best version of you.
Yeah.
And you have to stand out. And as long as you're the best version of you and you stand out,
It's yours.
it's yours. And I feel like I learned that there.
Yeah. So you just knew you were in an environment full of, other individuals,
Yeah.
At least uniqueness
Yeah.
as you were.
Yeah, so that itself like pushed me to want to be the best.
Yeah.
After going to Howard and just seeing how people were there and just seeing how to really operate and how to really do things, I soaked all that, knowledge, and I soaked all those connections in.
Yeah.
All those connections are what I'm still using to this day. I'm still leveraging those connections I made, just a year ago. And it's like Howard taught me a lot, and I feel like everyone is, everyone is living in seasons, right?
Yeah.
You're in things for a season. I feel like, even going to Howard, I expected me to be able to graduate from there and to be a Howard alumni one day. But I thank God that I was there for the season that I was, because I gained 4 years of Howard experience in 1 year.
Okay.
And I feel that's all I needed. And now God brought me back to Delaware to succeed.
Yeah.
It's like now that I'm here, like I have no choice but to succeed.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's just my calling. I feel like it's the path that He's taking me right now. But I know definitely the reason why I'm back here is to conquer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and we can. It's like I want to change things here too. Like I want to, see everyone else here conquer as well. And there's already a lot of talented people in the state of Delaware.
And you don't have that feeling like right where like you're around somebody who and you don't feel bad when you're around somebody who's doing more than you. Or in a better position.
That motivates me.
I feel like
I'm like, damn, I gotta do more.
that's what I'm saying. You get that feeling. It's like, man, like how can we help each other out?
Yeah,
Like teach me something.
Teach
what
me.
do you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Let's,
bro.
let's share.
A lot of people
Facts.
ask questions.
Yeah,
though, you know what I
like,
mean? They feel too intimidated. They feel like less of demasculated when they
So
ask
let them
another
know what
person,
you're
you
doing.
I don't understand,
Be like,
man.
yo,
I
put
feel
me
like
on.
that's what I do. Like, give me a book. Like all the time, he reads a ton. I started reading recently. Started reading a ton.
What are you
of
reading
books.
right now?
Right now I'm reading the business of the 21st century.
What are you reading?
I recently just finished Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Okay.
So I finished that, trying to give me the 21st century, and it's like back and forth. So it's like, yo, what did you think of this? I took some notes, sent it to him. He'd be like, yo, it's this, that, and the third. I'd be like, well, I didn't see it like that. This is how I saw it. He'd be like, all right, that's cool. And it's just that alone.
Yeah.
Like recently, he had something with J.P. Morgan. He was about to get hired. Like, yo, how'd you get into J.P. Morgan? What's up with that? Like, yo, contact this person. This is what it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, it's like, yo, bro, how'd you, like, I see you working at J.P. Morgan. What's up? Like, how'd you get in? It's like, man, like, chill out.
Yeah.
Like, bro,
It be like that.
You figure it out. I'm just like, where, like, in Delaware, you don't feel that sensation where it's like people generally want to help each other out.
Yeah.
Like, we're all doing nothing, but you do your nothing by yourself. Because I got my nothing over here. You feel me?
Facts.
I got to build my nothing into nothing. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
If I have something and I'm learning something and you're doing nothing, I'm going to tell you.
It's a
we can-
self-conscious thing that
That's
people
what I'm
don't want
saying.
people to catch up to where they're
I don't
at. They don't want them to, especially if they know who you are, the type of mindset you have. They're like, if I give him this information, I'm here, he's here, but he's gonna be here.
See, I'm so much more confident in myself to the fact that like I could give him all the information in the world. At the end of the day, I know that the way I'm gonna use the information is gonna be different because we're two different people.
You have different visions at the end of the day, different
It's like I'm the
mindsets.
type of person that, especially if you're, someone that went through the struggle, someone of a diverse background, someone that I can relate to on anything.
Yeah.
I want you to succeed. And even if I don't relate to you, like, I'm not an evil person at all. So it's like I'm always putting people on.
Yeah.
And the whole point of Coffer, literally the gist of it, is literally putting people on.
I feel like today's curriculum, especially in public school, like, there's nothing that we could use. That's not a thing. Like, and it's crazy because it's like you go through school for so long, and around like the ending of school, like 11th grade, 12th grade, I started realizing, I'm like, yo, like, we learn the same thing every year, and they just added something. Like 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Like 4 times 2 is 8. Like 8 times 2. Like, you feel me?
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, we kept doing that. Then they put letters into it. Then they did this. Then I took this big test. Then I showed up, dressed real nice. My whole family was there. And I grabbed a piece of paper, and we took pictures, and that was it. And now, like, I'm accepted into the world, and I'm out of high school, and I'm a grown-up. But, like, I have nothing preparing me to exceed the responsibilities that, like, I'm thenceforth gonna have or acquire.
Yeah.
So it's like, this was a joke. This was nothing serious. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
So it's like with Coffer, my big thing is like, just give the knowledge.
Yeah.
Whether just make it available. Give it something where people could take it in and really change. Like,
Even if you touch one person. You know
that's
what I
all
mean?
it's about.
Something that like hit me hard though when I was in school was if you were to ever talk, like, I had a lot of friends that were like people who were like 3.5s and up.
Mm-hmm.
What I realized talking to a lot of them were they had no idea what to do after school. Like, most of the time it was just like, now I'm not saying all of them, I'm just saying like of like more than half, I would ask them like, what's your plans after school? And they were like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know what I would do without school.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their response. But me, who had like a 2.0, I had to learn, I had to come up with a strategy quick.
Mm-hmm.
I had to come up with something like thinking on my toes, like, okay, once school's done, what am I doing? What is my plan before I leave? So for the fact I was thinking at 11th grade, because I knew school wasn't for me. I think in sporadic. I can't like keep a consistent pace. It's like you have those people that are like really good test takers and versus someone who's like really good just overall in the class. I'm a good test taker. I compare myself from one day. So that's why like I'm behind the camera.
Yeah.
I can perform in this moment, dedicate myself to this moment, and I'll be bomb. But versus somebody graduating with like a lower GPA, but graduating with a plan that that transcends outside of school, and that they can apply to real life and learn some more things rather than just learn what says in a book. Because most of the time, if you ever look at an application, they're gonna ask you, "What's your experience?" rather than "What's your knowledge?" Like, what school did you go to? They want to know like, where was your recent place of work? Like, where did you work before here? Do you have any like internships anywhere? Do you have any connections? Like, what do you do? It's not what you know, it's who you know. It's what you
I
know.
experienced
So, like-
that. No, go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so Robert Kiyosaki, the book that I was reading earlier today, right? He even said that if you're like a small business owner, right? And you know, small business owner, we need investors to invest in our companies, right?
Yeah.
You know, to gain capital for a company. When you're seeking for investors, they're not going to ask for your GBA. They're going to ask for your financial statements, right? So just like piggybacking off the fact that you were just talking about how, you know, GPA doesn't matter at all. You know, your education level doesn't matter at all. As long as you're able to, you know, do the fundamental math, reading, writing, and you already have a creative aspect to you, and you bring something different to the table, and you have an actual skill, you can monetize that.
Yeah, you're a good addition.
Yeah.
Like the experience that I had with that specifically was like, I had went to UD, I had full scholarship to UD, and I had went for the first 2 weeks. I did not want to go to school, even coming out of high school, but me being at the school, if they were going to give you a scholarship, well, to graduate, you had to apply somewhere. So I just applied to UD, went there for the first 2 weeks, and I dropped out. You know, how I was looking at it was like, I did not want to add on another 4 years.
For real.
Because, and I'm not knocking going to school at all.
Yeah, no.
But like, for me, I'm a guy who likes to actually go out, move, do stuff, experience. I like to fail. You know, go out. You know, get these failures out of the way. You know what I mean? Let me learn. You know what I mean? Now, because what I'm seeing now is individuals like myself did not go to school. They're holding the jobs that people who got the associate's and master's degree went to school for, and now when they get out, the guys who didn't go to school are holding them. I went to I worked at Kingswood Academy. I was supposed to have a bachelor's degree there. And I worked when I was 19, and you know, I wasn't really supposed to, but I got the job. I was working there for a little bit. And you need a bachelor's degree to work there. I was a youth service specialist, working with other youth. You know what I mean? But someone going, you know, into school 4 years to get a bachelor's degree to work for that will come out looking for a job and can't find a job because somebody like me is holding it. But it's all about what have you done up to that point. You know, like the resume that you build through experience. You know what I mean? But I did not want to do myself that disservice of going or being behind 4 years. You know what I mean? Because I feel like, okay, I'm supposed to be graduating in 2020. I graduated in 16. 2020, I'm supposed to be graduating. But like me seeing where I'm at now and everything that I've accomplished, it's like, yo, I would have not even been here if I would have went to school. And imagine where I'm going to be in 2020. It's like those 4 years. What if like I started my life that day? You know what I mean? I would have been all of this behind. You know what I mean? So it's like that's how I've been viewing it. And like school is just like it's a system. It's a system that people feel like they need to succeed in life. And a lot of people, most of the greatest people that succeeded in life had no degree. You know what I mean? They had no degree. But it's all about like even like what he was explaining before, like the technology we have now, we can self-teach ourselves everything. I can learn a language in my basement with this. You feel me? Like you can teach yourself everything you need to know. You don't need to show up to a classroom from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 8 to 3 to learn. You know what I mean? Like that's not an obligation. Like you can teach it. Like it's the consistency that we were talking about. You know, being consistent with what it is that you want to do, and just knowing what it is you want to do, and grabbing the education to do it. But you can teach yourself whatever it is you want to know. Like everything that you've accomplished, like knowledge-wise, is you basically taught yourself with it through the TED Talks. You know what I mean? You watching those videos, you gaining that knowledge, and actually wanting to know that for your purposes and what you want to do. Yeah, you showed it in the classroom, but like, how many people go to school and came out knowing nothing? You know what I mean? So it's like everything that you learn is stuff that you taught yourself. You know what I mean?
And I believe what you said 100%. One reason why I'm really doing this, one, make my mom happy. Two, because at the end of the day, I'm a black man, right? And people fought, people died, people sacrificed for us to even be able to go to these institutions, right? People sacrificed for us to be able to go to these institutions, sacrificed their lives, sacrificed their money as well. So, me neglecting an opportunity like that to me was just, it just wouldn't sit right with me.
I feel it.
And me personally, it's just all about, you know, achieving, right? And I never want to be a one-dimensional person. You know, I want people to know that I'm holistic. I'm good in everything, right? Yeah. So I don't want people to say, "Oh, that's just Isle the businessman." No, that's Isle the businessman, Isle the doctor, Isle the lawyer, Isle the anything. You feel me? It's always making yourself the most marketable person. And I think if you have the opportunity to go to school for free, do it.
Yeah.
If you have to go take yourself and go into debt for it, then it's questionable. You know.
There you go.
And I went through. I went through a process of that a little bit. Figuring out if school is actually for me. You know.
Yeah.
And for a period of time, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It recently now is because God did a miracle. You know, I've been praying on it, and God made it happen some way, and He's gonna make it happen. So, that's the only way. That's the only reason why I'm still at school. But I do feel that I relate with you. I also do want to encourage a lot of people of color to pursue education.
And I understand. I never seen it from that point of view. Like I never thought about it like that. But that's factual.
Yeah,
that's accurate.
But in that also, I feel like school is major key to it. But like, I feel like if you have the opportunity to go for free, go. School is important. For some people, especially in our generation, I see the most. They're intellectual people, have the mindset, have everything. They're just not good at school.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, school's just not
the strategized testing that they come up with specifically.
They can't, the sitting and taking in information, then preparing for this huge test, that's not for them. They're more
that doesn't mean school's not for them.
Okay.
It just means the way that they're taught isn't for them.
I give you that. But I feel like school, no, I give you that.
I have to be the bad guy, as far as like the basement goes. We're out of time. You feel?
Oh,
so we're gonna end it now. We're gonna talk again afterwards. We can keep talking about whatever, but just so that everybody who's watching knows who you are, go ahead, introduce yourself.
I'm Dejan. Everybody calls me D from co-founder of Coffee. My business partner.
What's good? Io Yamaka X. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I'm also co-founder of Cover Financial.
My name's Tyler, photographer on Instagram, TylerJ563.
Kyle_816.
That's all we have. Thank you for tuning in today. And make sure you tune in for the next episode. Thank you. Go ahead. Yo, they have you wearing the this? That's why I got hair on my pizza. That's why I don't eat here no more.
Like it can stay like this, but I gotta line it up.
Okay.
When you start?
Huh?
When you start?
Like the third, I think.
My nigga look like a whole Arabian right now. You'll never tell that nigga Puerto Rican.
Hey, yo.
Y'all said I look A-Rap?
Yeah. Whole Saudi Arabia right now.
Wait till they're there.
Listen, bro, you see mine struggling, you know? But we getting it. Go
That
ahead.
ain't no, that's an imaginary line, my guy.
Keep cutting it. I'm gonna keep cutting it.
Wow.
Y'all see mine, right? Y'all see mine, right?
Yo, this summer. Nah, not even summer. Like as soon as the first hot day, you need to train me, dog. Like,
Bro,
eat on my ass. I'm trying.
you eating pizza and shit? Bro, I got you. Listen, I'm ready for whenever. We can get back. We can get back on our workflow.
Hear me? That's gonna motivate you.
Yeah, I used to work there. I'm about to get my whip. You know what I mean? So I'll be able to pick you up and then, you know what I mean? We can go down there now. Remember, I was running down there when you was going down there. Yeah, so now. Yeah, you gotta save up. Forget the laptop right now. Get the whip, and then you can get a different.
I ain't have a quarter of high school. That shit was ass.
Bro.
Shit was ass.
Huh? How with it? Huh?
My uncle, my dad's side.
What about them?
They got all the funds.
Oh, you need to connect me then. You feel me? I need that. I'm gonna hit you up.
Talk to Lou too. Cause Lou know where
Lou know, yeah, Lou know.
Yeah. I need to find something because once I get that, these first couple checks with Amazon, I'm getting that whip and I'm getting out of there. And I'm about to go work at Capital One.
Oh yeah, Capital One.
Capital One, get that corporate check. You
My
feel
girl
me?
mom was there.
Word?
Yeah.
How she look?
I do gym building.
How she look?
She look young as shit.
She look
Like,
funny.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
Word?
Like she look just like my drum. Like she look like twins.
Hey, listen, we in there. That's what we doing. Let me know. You know what I mean? What's her name?
But nah,
Can
so.
we feed you here? You need to bring something home, bro. You need to bring something too.
Alright, hold up. I see what I got cooking up.
Nigga stupid. Hey, yes. Ask him real quick.
Alright, bro. So, is there anything you want to tell the people watching the basement?
Hey man, tune in. I couldn't make it today because y'all see what I'm doing. I'm busy getting a check, but I'll be there next time.
Get money. Get money.
Yeah, get money. Building up to my dream.
Hear that?
Alright, bro. We about to be out. Later, dog. I'll hit you up, alright?
You see, bro.
Alright, bro.
Your phone, bro.
Alright, cool.